Hey, everybody, it's your girl, PJamma, with PJamma Life. And happy Black History Month. And we're here today to have a look at some really interesting, fun, exciting movies and TV today. And let's start off with we're gonna watch we're gonna talk about the tragedy of Macbeth, starring Denzel Washington and Francis McDormand. Joel Cohen directed it. Catherine Hunter as the witches. We're going to talk about that. Grand Crew, a new sitcom on NBC. Uh, the Book of Boba Fett finale. Had some surprises, some pretty good stuff happening. And finally, episode 6 and 7 of Peacemaker and Eagly. Okay, so let's say hey to our fellas. Let's start off with a guy from UK and all things Tatooine. Say hey to the people, David.
Hello, everybody. Great to be with you tonight on this unseasonably warm day in our nation's capital. We're enjoying it. Looking forward to talking to you about these shows. Maybe a little bit of a curveball before the end of the show. You never know. We will see.
Never know. And our guru of all things Marvel, say hey to the people, Patrick.
Hey to the people, Patrick. I don't know why I'm saying that, but I'm saying it. So here we are.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get started because we got a bunch, and we'll also at the end talk about the Oscars and what we thought was just good, and then what's a snub. Okay, so let's start off with the beautifully shot The Tragedy of Macbeth.
Is this a dagger which I see before me? The handle toward my hand? Let me clutch thee. Corridor. Clams. All as the weird women promised. Nein, du sprichst!
All hail Macbeth, that shall be king hereafter.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna go first. Okay, so I didn't think that they could pull off the Macbeth, but this blew my mind. It's so amazing. The production design is so beautiful. The cinematography is so gorgeous and lush. Even though it's black and white, it just feels like a part of the movie, and the acting is superb. And Catherine Hunter as the three witches, and she played the old man in the field. Um, she was just incredible. I don't miss it. It's I think it's just one of I understand at first I was kind of like, ugh, Shakespeare. I love Shakespeare, but I was kind of like another Shakespeare movie in the Oscars. But after watching it, I completely get it. Don't sleep on this. Watch it right now. Well, after our show, but watch it. It's one of the best movies of this year. Okay, let's see, Patrick.
Okay, I loved it too. I love
What?
Shakespeare as a rule. I do love Shakespeare as a rule. Uh, and you were right. The minimalist set design,
Woo.
they really by going to black and white and choosing the minimalist set design, they really allow the performances to do their thing.
Yes.
They get to shine through because you're not distracted by cool costumes. I mean, the costumes are okay, but when they're in black and white,
They were beautiful.
they tend to sink back into the background a little bit more, which is where you want things. I mean, because to be honest, if you're watching Shakespeare on a TV movie, you know Shakespeare for the most part. You've seen this play before. I thought it was really well done. It was abridged, though, to be from a purist standpoint. They did cut out some of the extra stuff, which is fine. I mean, it makes sense for TV movies or even just a movie. Liked it a lot. I really did like it a lot. We'll get to the best actor category, which Denzel Washington was nominated for. We'll talk about that when we talk about the nominations. But I thought overall, super great movie, beautifully shot.
Beautiful.
I mean, it was a visual delight.
Yes, 100% agree. David, what did you think?
So you both say fair and not foul, then is what I'm
fair and not foul.
So, and I would concur with that. I thought this was wonderful. I love Shakespeare, and I thought this was wonderful. I went through the cast before I saw it, and I said, "What do you mean? You got one person playing the witches?"
Yeah.
And then I watched Catherine Hunter, and she stole the movie. You've got great. Denzel's an amazing actor, one of Hollywood's greatest. I mean, certainly a leading man for all seasons. Frances McDermott is fantastic. She's a wonderful actress. But the witches drive this story. They always have. Ooh. And Catherine Hunter, as one person playing all of the witches, and how she did it with her voice and her physical acting.
Yes.
And all
God, yes.
Yes.
It was incredible. So I was, I know how good Denzel is, and I was waiting to be mesmerized by him. She stole the show, and everybody was good. But man, I want to watch her in other things because she was fantastic. It was brilliant to see. Loved it. Like you, I think the black and white. Really the way the set was it was as if you were watching a theater in the round more so than a movie. And this is a story that, you know what, it can be on a grand scale, but the story is grand enough. You don't have to see the epic battles and everything. It can be very condensed and right there on the stage.
Right.
Boom. This was a winner. I will, though, I do have to share this. I did some research. There was actually a manuscript of notes that William Shakespeare had when he was writing Macbeth. And it was fascinating. I don't know that they had this any other piece. So to me, this is an extraordinary extra piece of literature. And in fact, it quotes Shakespeare talking to people when he was writing the play. His dog, and you can relate to this because my dog sometimes will make his presence known on the show. The dog had tried to rip away the manuscript from Shakespeare while he was writing. And do you know what he said? It's historically written now. It's actually in one of the London museums. He actually said, out, damn spot.
Damn spot.
You knew where I was going with this. You knew my cheesy bad joke. Pat, he's got the lovely grin on his face with that. And it's like, that man is really...
In the Midwest, that is what we call a Branson joke. Took forever to get there and wasn't really worth the trip.
Oh!
Yeah,
welcome. We have a new viewer, the review. So welcome to us.
You liked my joke, didn't you?
Stop by.
All right, here's another really quick one in that same vein.
Oh, no.
The Billy Ocean jokes.
Oh.
What's the coolest ocean? Billy Ocean. You got to be a child of the 80s.
Macbeth, but we'll
out Dab David.
Out of here. But yes, definitely. It's a unanimous vote for us to watch Macbeth. And next, we have the new NBC sitcom from Phil Augusta Jackson, Grand Crew on NBC.
What I'm saying is, we got layers, y'all.
Made me wonder if he was like a black Republican. But they're not out here in the streets like that, right?
So what are you gonna do?
I suppose the only way to figure out what he meant is to see him again and have sex with him. Ow! Oh, thanks, Obama.
Have the how was the rest of your night with Kim T? Got the crap. Did you put your mouse on the mattress or Zwa?
A gentleman does not kiss and tell. So I guess I'm a bad boy because, yeah.
This afternoon, I caught Anthony here in the bathroom.
Naked?
Worse. Oh, God. Are you crying? Look away.
Come on, Nikki. How is it possible that we've seen the same woman everywhere we go?
I see the same black people all the time on the east side. There's only so many of us over here.
Why there are therapists is because they are trained and they provide a safe space and can say things that friends
Are you
can't.
struggling to avoid conflict again?
Of course I am.
David, what do you think of Grand Crew?
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I like the ensemble cast. The young lady who is the host of Nailed It is fantastic.
Nicole Breyer.
She's great, and I really kind of fell in love with her on Nailed It, and I'm glad to see her do some acting where she's just not her comedian self. I think that's good because she's got range. I thought it was fun. I so rarely watch regular TV, and I so rarely watch a sitcom anymore. So it's almost as if I'm glad to see that that the genre isn't dead, but it is something that I'm not seeing, that I can't really. I should, little time as I have, you'd think I'd put more time into the 30-minute shows, but you don't see too many. But I thought it was fun. I'm willing to watch it again. That's for sure.
Okay, Pat, what'd you think?
It was okay. I mean, it wasn't great. I mean, it felt like Friends with less girls. An updated version of Friends is what it. And to be honest,
It was two girls in Friends? I didn't
Three.
watch Friends.
Three. And then guest stars.
And then the guest stars, which, but there's so little, I guess, unplowed ground to find now that we haven't found, or because everything feels kind of recycled a little bit, especially in sitcoms, because Lucy did it first, or Friends did it first, or Seinfeld did it first, or somebody,
Friends
you
did
had
not
these
do it first. Living Single did it first, but go ahead. That's a debate for the ages.
Anyway, but I'm just saying there's nothing new, and they're not, at least it didn't even feel like they went to the trouble to really repackage it enough to make it feel at least new, kind of, I don't know. It was okay. It wasn't great. I didn't like it as much as I liked Abbott Elementary, which we watched last week. But
Yeah,
it wasn't bad. It was just
Yeah.
Is that me?
Well, I think that it's a refreshing take on a classic sitcoms genre, right? So you have a group, but let's talk about the progenitor. Living Single did it the best in this kind of Friends who are like living together, working together kind of thing. I think Grand Crew is finding its way. This is the first season. There's about 7 episodes. Funny situations, some funnier than others. But I think it's nice. What I find refreshing is to see young Black men who are professionals, who are not a drug dealer, a murderer, a thief, or out here in these streets, not living right. And so here you have just a bunch of nice guys, some nerds, some, but they're all like good, nice people. And so I am thoroughly sick of the criminal element for Black men to be a part of. So seeing an accountant, a store owner, a realtor, bartender, it's just nice to see us in some other situations than what's typically been presented for us. So I think it's easy. The whole family can watch it, and you can have a giggle, and in these difficult times, sometimes you just want to giggle. So this is one to just have a nice little giggle about. So I definitely think that all of us said we kind of like it, and we'll see where it goes from here. But definitely keep watching, because we want to support positive shows with positive messages. So definitely keep watching. grand crew, and maybe have a glass of wine while you're at it. And now to the biggest show that the three of us have been waiting for, the finale of Boba Fett. Let's take a peek.
You won't have to worry about Freetown.
Did you convince the Marshal to remain neutral?
Yes.
Good.
I didn't realize the Pike Syndicate was so ruthless. Does Fett know that? He has no idea.
You'll have your moment.
I've known you a long time, Bobo. What's your angle?
This is my city. These are my people. I will not abandon them.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go to our guru of all things Star Wars, but let me first say hi to the Superpowered Dare Die team. Hi, welcome. And let's go to David to give us his encyclopedia knowledge of Star Wars and Boba Fett.
You know, this was a show ultimately I liked, but I didn't love it. I think we talked about Peacemaker, and I said I actually like something about the DC comics, and Pat said, do you like DC or do you like James Gunn? And I think, and it was a great question. I loved when he asked that because I think it goes back to this show. I love Star Wars. I'm not that big a fan of Robert Rodriguez because I think his direction in these, and I'm not trying to be too critical as a backseat driver on this, but I think it missed the boat in terms of the way the story was shot. It was set up, the action. It left me wanting on so many levels.
But is that good? I think that could be good too.
Well, I mean, I think it just missed it. To me, this was a missed opportunity. We can debate. I mean, unlike Mandalorian, where you're introduced all new characters that you didn't know, so the fans can't get into it. Well, this isn't my Boba Fett from Comic 604. This isn't what I would have in my own fan fiction wrote, or what you saw these characters, and then it's like we already had some preconceived notions. This was a radical change to who Boba Fett was throughout the mythos of him, even when you would see him as an honorable guy in some of it. I thought the battle scenes were too small, and I thought really one of the disappointing things, and it wasn't so much, yes, it was great to see Mando, and as soon as I saw that bubble on the Naboo fighter, you knew that's where Grogu was going to wind up. That was going to be his seat. The fact that when we saw the Mandalorian, he wasn't on Tatooine. This planet, this has been a landlocked, ground-bound show from the get-go. We saw just a moment with Slave One, didn't even get into orbit. So it was good to see. Cad Bane was great. I mean, that was a nice little battle.
Yes.
But you're wanting foot soldiers, and you go get townspeople. That took me. They killed a crate dragon with Tuskens. Those aren't soldiers, man. I really thought that just the way the setup and so much of it was, it really had me wanting it. It was lacking for me, and I'm sorry to say that because I could go with Boba being a different guy.
Yeah.
But I thought the story itself, it set a very high bar from coming in, taking over the palace, killing Bib, to where we had the Power Rangers on their bikes.
Another Power Rangers!
That's so unforgivable. Change those bikes up, have them multicolored, fancy colors, put them on a space station, maybe, but not Tatooine. It just wasn't Star Wars for me. It lacked. It just did.
Okay. All right. Pat, did you think?
Disappointed. Similar to David. I mean, it wasn't the Book of Boba Fett. It was the Mandalorian season 2.5. I mean, really, the first few episodes was like, oh, here's how Boba Fett got out of the Sarlacc pit, and oh yeah, by the way, yeah, he's going to take over, but not really. It's going to be kind of weak, and we're going to have Mando come in and save him. You know, I wanted to love it more. And you know, I'll tell you what, I thought the worst thing was the horrible, ignoble death of Cad Bane, who escaped so much crap throughout the Clone Wars. To have him just stabbed by Mando, weak, totally weak. I was not. I wanted to love it a lot more, kind of like Dave. I mean, it felt like a bait and switch. Like they told us it was going to be the Book of Boba Fett. We're going to do Boba Fett stuff. We're going to be all into Boba Fett. But then it ended up being Mandalorian 2.5, which I love Mandalorian, but come on, man, you know, label it right at least. So I mean, it wasn't bad. I just didn't love it.
Yeah, and I think this from a lot of people I talked to, that might be the consensus. And I think if you pulled out those Mandalorian episodes, it was like 2 whole Mandalorian episodes. And so, you know, they could have just tacked that on to the beginning of next season, I felt like, and started it, you know, kind of worked it from there. But I felt like the show, I liked it. Like you guys, I didn't love it, but maybe I liked it a little more than you all. But I felt like they didn't do they did a disservice to Boba Fett by not fully talking then about, if he's going to be a crime lord, then I want to see him be a crime lord with the other crime lords on the planet, taking them over. I think that my favorite scene this week was Fennec Shan going to do her assassin business. I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
And you know, I have to say, I was disappointed that Grogu came back. I did not want that to happen. I wanted him to stay with Luke Skywalker because it just doesn't make sense to me how you have a Yoda becoming a bounty hunter. That don't make no daggum sense with him trailing along with Mandalorian. I hope he's gonna somehow get hooked up with Ahsoka, and then they move Grogu with Ahsoka and something else, because him being with a bounty hunter is just terrible, and to me, and part of the Star Wars universe. How is that gonna work? And I don't know where they would go with that. So I don't like that. But I do want to see in the Mandalorian if he, goes to the temple of Mandalore and goes underneath the waters to get redeemed because he took his mask off or whatever. Because I want to see more of the armorer. I loved her character in the episodes. Anytime she was on the screen, I was like, ooh, I gotta see more of her. And so him with the Darksaber, you know, I'm just excited for the Mandalorian to come back. But Boba Fett, and I was kind of hoping that they would show Fennec Shand as a, you know, play double crossing him or something. That would have been cool. But you know, it's still, and I agree that Robert Rodriguez, in the episodes he directed, were kind of like, I mean, it just didn't have the emotional punch that Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau's episodes did.
Or the action.
The action was kind of dumb. And when he was the monster was climbing the building like King Kong, I was like,
King Kong. It was very much a King Kong reference.
I was like, no, come on now, no. And so some of those choices, I think our new buddies, the Super Dare team, said they had some great moments, but questioned some of the decisions. And that is definitely true, because Boba Fett was not in many of the episodes, and that kind of stunk. So, but overall, it beats a blank. So,
It's a low bar, but yes, it was good.
But it was better than some things out there. So definitely, I don't think it's a D or an F. I think it's a solid kind of B effort. But when you're used to the high bar of the other shows that Disney Plus has given us, it's kind of like y'all step it up. So that's what we say here on PJamma Life.
Let me ask you one question for both of you. Let me ask you this real quick before we move on. Does this make you more excited or less excited for Kenobi that's coming out in May?
This doesn't impact me.
No
with
impact
Kenobi.
for you?
It makes me a little anxious. Makes me a little anxious.
I'm a little apprehensive because Boba could have gone anywhere in the galaxy because he had a spaceship.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan, it's definitely going to be on Tatooine because that's his job is to look after Luke.
Right.
A lot of this stuff. So it's like he could have gone somewhere else. And I'm like, another show where we're just going to be on this desert planet that doesn't, that gives me.
But it's still Obi-Wan as a youngish Obi-Wan. So,
right. But
the trailer. If you look at the trailer, it's him like a Clone Wars era.
Well, yeah. So I mean, he's got 20 years, but it just gives me pause because he needs to be there to watch over Luke.
Yeah.
And we've spent this whole show on Tatooine, with the exception of the Mando episodes.
Yeah.
Where Boba could have gone anywhere. I mean, he could have had a meeting with these crime lords somewhere else, and they chose to keep it very centric on this one place. That gives me pause.
Yeah. So do we think? So when is Obi-Wan Kenobi? I wish they would have just
March,
named it
isn't
Kenobi. Is it March?
May 25th.
It's May. Oh, it's May. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, we got a couple of months. They got a couple of months to tool it up and switch stuff around and make it great. So listen to us, Disney Plus and the Star Wars folks, Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. Step it up, buddies. We love you. Don't take a misstep. Okay. And now, speaking of missteps, the Peacemaker episodes 6 and 7. Next week is the finale, so it's ratcheting up. So let's take a peek at Peacemaker. Not very peaceful.
Why is Cat's name so unoriginal?
Why are you my least favorite kid in this class?
Because I can see right through you.
I think I know where the raw amber fluid is coming from.
We destroy their food source, we destroy the butterflies.
What? How do we know that?
Got it.
What's wrong with your bird?
Daddy, stop it.
I'm proud to have had you on my team.
Finish the job.
Kill the fucking cat!
Let's start with Patrick, because this is, it's a comic book. You're not familiar with the DC as much as the other ones, but what did you think of Peacemaker so far, these 2 episodes?
Really fun. James Gunn's got such a good hand with this kind of stuff. I mean, he really does. He is good at finding the absurd in these overblown archetypes that, comic books produce. The constant 80s hair metal is the best. I do enjoy these, even though I didn't want. After the opening sequence, everything's great because that opening sequence is still fire. It's so good. I do enjoy. I do enjoy it. They've had a good cast. The story's been fairly engrossing. Lots of little twists and turns you don't see coming.
Yeah.
The growth of Peacemaker to a certain extent, realizing maybe killing everybody is not the way you solve peace. You make peace by killing everybody, kind of thing. I mean, there's a lot of little tidbits. I love it. I mean, I don't love it, but I definitely I might date it more than once. I'm not going to marry it. Let's put it that way.
You never know. Next week might convince you.
Maybe I'll be buying a ring. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, Hey, David, what'd you think?
Yeah, it is an entertaining show. I think the music, at the end of the day, the music is really something that just gets me through it. I love that kind of headbanger stuff, and that makes it entertaining. So it is fun. I love the idea of that character speaking to children. As someone who will be speaking to a group of college students in a few weeks, I love the thought of him speaking to the grade school kids. That was really funny. It does make you wince a little bit, kind of where we're seeing with his dad go, because a little bit with the white nationalists and all that stuff. That's not necessarily the most pleasant part of the show, but overall, it is an entertaining show. John Cena following in the Rock's big footsteps, big shoes.
Yep.
I think he's making it happen. I think he's making it happen. He's sticking to a good formula. He's goofy. He's funny. He's big and he's strong, and it's entertaining. It's just entertaining.
Yeah, and the review says that they love the white dragon suit. I'm kind of on that whole storyline. I'm like, but you did get some closure about what happened in his family, and in the 7th episode, and so I think that was an important moment. I think it was shocking what happened, and I didn't expect that. So that alone surprised me about the show, and I'm always up for a surprise. I just really didn't think it was going to go in that direction. I ain't sad about it, but but I was like, whoa. I literally went, whoa. But I really like that. My character, two characters I keep coming back to are Vigilante. Vigilante is really kind of stealing the show. And so his character, when he was trying to comfort the Peacemaker, soft pats, kind words. He was just so weird. He's such a sociopath, and it's a funny way that they are but he's trying. He doesn't understand all these emotions and stuff. And so but Eagly is still one of my favorite characters. Eagly had a lot these last couple of episodes, from him beating up Comaros and him, like, walking the slow walk with the others. I just thought that was hilarious, and that just keeps me entertained. And I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to wrap it up. I think the cow was a really surprising feature, but it looked familiar. Did it look familiar to you all, the design of the cow? It looked like another creature in another kind of story. I don't know where. I'll figure it out, but
nothing stood out with me.
Yeah, the face of it looked familiar from another show.
Okay.
I don't know what it was, but anywho, it's so stupid. This is a real silly show, but it's fun, and it's now we typically will let you know if kids should watch certain shows. I don't think this is an appropriate show for children.
No.
At all, but it's fun for the kid and all of us. and like the review said that Peacemaker turned out a lot better than he expected, or the review expected, and it turned out better than what I expected. And so on that alone, I'll give it a try. It's not typical DC fare, I think.
It's like in daylight and everything. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, and you can tell, look at the caliber of the director and writer for most of them is James Gunn.
Yeah.
He's used to working with big budgets, and it looked like they gave him a good amount of money for it. So you can tell, it looks like it. When you go and look at the first season of Doom Patrol or some of those, it's like, ooh, they weren't working with a lot of money, but they did. The story was crazy, but that's why I think definitely binge it. And next week will be the finale, so I think that'd be a good opportunity to binge the whole series to see, what's going to happen. Next Thursday is the finale, so definitely check out Peacemaker and Eagerly. So, well, that brings us to now our Oscar gab. So, I was trying to pull up some of the nominations, and it looks like it's an interesting batch of movies for the best picture, but I think and we'll try to review all of them before the Oscars on March 27th. The best picture: Nightmare Alley, Don't Look Up, Dune, Drive My Car, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, The Power of the Dog, West Side Story, King Richard, and Coda. I was okay with the list. I haven't seen about 3 of them, I think. But I was kind of mad about the Oscar snubs that bothered me were that Guillermo del Toro was not nominated for Best Director. I thought that was crazy. Now having seen the Tragedy of Macbeth, that Catherine Hunter was not nominated is insane. Especially when you think about trying to find the nominees. That category of Best Supporting Actress.
Best Supporting Actor, I can tell you. I got it pulled up here.
Okay, Best Supporting Actress. Who's in that?
Actor, let me find it. Hang on. Actress in leading role. Actor. Sorry. Actor in supporting role. We got Syrian Hines from Belfast. Troy.
Best Actor. Syrian Hines. Actress.
Okay. You want actress? Okay.
Yeah, Best Supporting Actress.
Actress in leading role or
supporting.
Yeah, Jessie Buckley from The Lost Daughter. Ariana DeBose from West Side Story, who I think should win. Judi Dench from Belfast, Kirsten Dunst from Power of the Dog, and Anjunali Elise from King Richard.
No, not Anjunali Ellis. What was the last one?
That was her, Anjunali Ellis, King Richard.
For Best Supporting Actress?
Actress in a supporting role.
Wow, she should have gotten Best Actress. I mean, who was the best actress in that movie then? I mean, that's crazy to me. But Anjunali Ellis is a fantastic actress. She's been around for a long time. A lot of people know her from Lovecraft Country. She was just in that, was phenomenal. But most people know her from, what was that vampire? Charlene Harris's vampire, Suki Stackhouse. That series.
True Blood.
She was
True Blood.
True Blood.
Still
yes.
True Blood, yes.
She was in that for a long time. So most people know her from that, but she's been around for a long time as a fantastic actress. And I'm really hoping that she wins. But Catherine Hunter, she was incredible.
Yeah.
And I I don't even know what the Academy was thinking on that. That was a big miss on that. And this one, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't want to be too judgy. But Drive My Car, I haven't seen
that one yet.
No.
It better be great. All
that.
I can say is because that's up for a lot. And
is that like a sequel to Dude, Where's My Car? Because I mean that was one of the great
here
films of
we
all
go.
time.
Absolutely not. But I think it's a Japanese film. And so it's up for also international film. And so it could win like Parasite did in both categories. So, and the director, I think he took the spot of Guillermo del Toro. So, Nightmare Alley, if you have a chance, see the original and then watch the new one. I know, Pat, you've seen it at the theaters. I'm going to watch it on HBO Max. And I love the story. It's also a book, so I'm going to review it in my Oscar reviews. But there's a lot this year. A lot of these films are actually based on books. So I'll try and review as many as I can for that. But definitely, I think that there's another matchup with Denzel Washington and Will Smith that looks to be good. So it's so different. And I kind of feel
you know
like,
what? Okay.
I hope Will Smith gets it.
I hope he doesn't. It was a terrible. He was not nearly as good as these other guys. Okay, it was. Okay,
read off the best actor list.
Okay, best actor in a leading role. You got Harvey Bardem for being the Ricardos. You have Benedict Cumberbatch for Power of the Dog. You have Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom. Will Smith for King Richard, and Denzel Washington for Tragedy of Macbeth. That's your and okay. Will Smith role weak. It was weak. It's the weakest one in the group there, to be honest.
I don't think it's the weakest. I definitely disagree with you on that.
Javier Bardem is a close second for the bottom.
Yeah, I haven't seen Andrew Garfield in Tick, Tick, Boom.
Oh my God!
So
really?
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
I want to see that.
So good. It was so good.
I'm gonna watch it, and then we're also gonna review it. We've
Power
also
of the Dog.
Power of the Dog.
Benedict Cumberbatch was so good in that.
Yeah,
oh
but
my God.
I don't know if it's a departure from anything he's done. I mean, I feel like he's done that.
Really?
Really?
Who?
Yeah.
Like the arrogant gay cowboy?
Oh, you
pedophile?
just told the whole.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, tell me. Okay, what's Benedict Cumberbatch other than that? He's been a sorcerer.
Just as long as you don't tell what happens in the crying game, you're okay.
About Turing.
Oh my God, it's a guy.
The Turing. What was that movie a few years ago? And he played Alan Turing.
Alan Turing. Oh, I can't remember. I know
what you're talking about.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if it was different. I'm not saying he's not worthy, but I want Will Smith to win because I want Will Smith.
Okay,
to win.
Will Smith's a nice guy, but it was not that great of a role, and the way they have totally. No. If you listen to if you've read anything about the guy, I did.
Don't shush me.
It's your show. I want to say.
Hey, audience, hope you've enjoyed the three of us on the show over the time.
David, it looks like it's two of us from now
on. Okay.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay. They totally rehabilitated that character of the King Richard guy. He was a terrible person in real life. If you look back at all the stuff he did, it's like I loved the P.T. Barnum movie. I'm trying to remember what it was now with Hugh Jackman. Okay, great musical. It was so much fun. But P.T. Barnum was a horrible asshole. Pardon my French. Anybody who's listening to this hasn't heard that word before. But he was a terrible person. It was totally rehabilitating this character of a terrible person to make them feel a little sympathetic. And they did the same thing with this guy. This guy left his other kids and just like, oh, I don't know those kids now. I'm like, you know what? Forget that. I don't want to reward that kind of behavior. It was not worthy of a story other than the fact his daughters became incredible athletic superstars. What, based on his training, maybe just based on his genetics. I don't know. But you know what? The fact that they made this guy into this saint-like individual through that movie did not sit well.
I don't think he was saint-like in the movie.
Saint-like. Yeah, they did.
I don't
compared
think
to
so. I mean, he was an arrogant jerk
compared to what the real life story was, which they left all that sitting back on the dock, didn't even unload that. You know. I'm just saying.
Listen, the Power and Dare Die team said he would substitute for Patrick if he was unavailable next week. So,
well, let me just say this:
don't threaten me with a good time. I have my Saturdays free. What?
Know it. I got to tell you though, the biggest disappointment to me, because if anybody knows the history of how hard it is to make this movie.
Yes, I know where you're going.
Dune. Best picture, best director.
He was robbed. Dune was robbed.
This was brilliant. The fact that he was smart enough to cut it in half.
Yeah.
And he still left out some important pieces, but it was beautiful. It was wonderful. This was the best telling of this groundbreaking book that you can see in. We have a whole show basically surrounded on Star Wars products. The impact that Dune had on the original Star Wars and through science fiction in general. This movie was brilliant. The director should have been nominated. Jessica Ferguson, she should have been nominated for Best Actress.
Oh, yeah.
Because again, the protagonist wasn't the boy king who will turn into, the Kazarite scissors or whatever you want to call it.
Kazarite, or the Lisan Al Gabe.
She was Moadib. There we go. It was her. That was, between her and Catherine Hunter not being in this.
Yeah.
It's a real shame to me. And I didn't know who Catherine Hunter was because I watched it last week. But boy, did I knew who she was 5 minutes into this flick.
Yeah.
And I did. And I want to see her.
You couldn't take your eyes off of her. That opening sequence when she's like coming up and contorted and whew.
No one did those characters better than she did.
Yeah.
And I think, again, the driving force in one of the most important plays, Western society.
Yeah.
This is Shakespeare speaks to all time, and she brought this to life, man. Yeah. She really did.
In a way that just hasn't been done before. So
I thought she was going to do the robot there for a second, but
I know, right?
She's a bird.
Oh my God, she was a bird. And so what was your favorite nomination, and then what was your worst nomination? If you look at the list.
For Best Picture?
Or just any category. I think my favorite was I was glad to see, I haven't seen it yet, that's why I was hoping it was Nightmare Alley. It's a dark film noir and classic, and from what I understand, Guillermo del Toro, the look of it is beautiful. And now, having seen the Tragedy of Macbeth, that's the one I'm rooting for. But I'm excited about that. But I think my worst is oh gosh, I have to look at the list. But we got time next week and throughout these weeks to I just don't. Now, this is something I just don't like. I just don't like Olivia Colman. I'm sure she'll be great in The Lost Daughter, but I don't want her to win because I don't want her to get up there and blow raspberries while she's giving her speech and be all like super goofy or something. I just know. So she's been a Academy darling. I think she's been nominated 2 of the 3 years. Movies have had her, and I don't want to see her up there. So that's the one for me. What about you, Patrick? You want me to come back to you?
Well, West Side Story was delightful,
Yeah.
but no, my internet's my phone died, and so I'm back on my internet. So I'm probably going to drop out here again.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah. Oh, has anybody seen Licorice Pizza? I haven't heard of anybody who's seen it.
I haven't. No, I saw a preview for it today, a trailer for it.
You've seen it?
Again, I'm all about Dune, and I'm really not about.
I have.
I can't say that I really was a big fan of some of the others. King Richard was okay, but I'm all about Dune. I'm all about Macbeth. Macbeth is beautiful. But
I think another one to look out for is Belfast.
Belfast, now that's a really good one too. And I think that one also filmed in black and white, a powerful story.
It was good.
Yeah. I mean, that was a really good one that we watched.
To see it yet. It's coming on streaming here soon before the Academy Awards. I think it'll be out sometime in March before the award ceremony, probably before the voting, so they can get nominated. But I definitely am happy and proud that the documentary features 2 African American stories, The Summer of Soul and Attica. So definitely 2 interesting times in American history. And so I'm definitely excited about that. I'm excited to watch Flea. That is in a lot of interesting categories for the first time. So definitely want to check out that. Because I think it's in both the documentary feature, but it's also in the animated feature. So that's interesting, and glad to see Encanto. And that was the one that I was disappointed in, that We Don't Talk About Bruno didn't get the song, as opposed to the Dos something. I can't pronounce the word, but it wasn't We Don't Talk About Bruno, which hit #1 on the Billboard charts and is just a fantastic song for the movie. So I thought that was a huge missed opportunity, and I think that would have brought a lot of people into the Academy, to the show. And so now it's kind of like, but any final thoughts on the Oscar? If not, we will wrap it up. We're a little over time, and we will. Is Pat frozen? I think Patrick might.
He is frozen. Yeah. He was just staring. He was staring heroically into the.
That's what he gets for shushing me.
He was.
I put the whammy.
Now, I will say this: the best, taking into the theme of Oscars, the best commercial, kind of as a tie-in with the Oscars. It's one of the reasons why I'm wearing the hat. Young man by the name of Oscar Shibwe is a front runner for the National College Player of the Year. His name Oscar. The tagline is Oscar worthy, and the promo video for him was done as a movie trailer. It literally opens up in a world.
Oh, wow.
Beautifully done. And for anyone who's seen it, you'll like, just from a film standpoint, and there's actually one where he watches himself. He introduces it. The young man from the Republic of Congo, he says it's caught there on film at the end. He says, "I can't wait to show my mom. She's going to be so proud."
Oh.
And actually, so again, tears at your heart, but it's really kind of beautifully done, playing on the Oscar-worthy theme. So a little plug there for one of the nicest guys that you'll ever meet, Oscar Shibwe, for his Player of the Year candidacy with that film. So, with the video, it's cute. It's really cute. Well done.
We'll have to check it out. And Pat, you got any final words? Uh-oh, is he frozen again?
No, he's sort of there, but he's not there. It's
okay. We'll just have him look stern. But
he's menacing. I got to look like that at TSA once, and I don't want that again, man. Woo! Uh-oh.
That's like a Cad Bane kind of look.
It is.
Well, we will definitely see you next time on PJamma Live. And thanks for all of the new folks who came. Super Good Night Team and the review. Come back and join us, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.
So long, everybody. Be safe.